Hello and welcome. This is an Edexcel iGCSE ICT past paper question. This is the 2021 paper. This is paper 1, the written theory paper. There are some instructions on the first page and the total paper is out of 100. So as always, you'll find a link to this paper down in the description along with the mark scheme, which links to my Dropbox account where you may download the paper. So what we've got here is some kind of case study. The digital family uses digital devices in their everyday lives, and there's the family. That's all you're going to get there. Okay, and we're straight into question 1 here. It's question 1A. Howard buys a tablet computer. Give 2 types of wireless connectivity that the tablet computer could use. So the first one now I'm going to use is Wi-Fi. That's probably the first thing you do, is connect it to your Wi-Fi. Then I'm also going to add Bluetooth as well. You can have 3, 4, 5G. You can have near-field communication there as well. Let's go and look at question B. Give 2 types of peripheral storage media that the tablet computer could use. So I'm going to put solid state drive as my first one, and I'm going to put cloud for my second one, which is kind of solid storage media that we use nowadays. So let's scroll down to C. Which one of these is required for the tablet computer to connect to the internet? Is it GPS, ISP, LAN, or NFC? The correct answer out of all 3, 4, the correct answer is ISP. It's not GPS, because that's used to locate devices. It's not a LAN, because that's a type of network. It's not D, near-field communication is peer-to-peer connectivity, rather than internet connectivity. Scroll down to D. Which one of these is found in all computers? Is it control software, keyboard, operating system, or processor? Now the correct answer out of all these 4 is D. It is a processor. That is the only one of those that is found in all computers. Some computers don't have keyboards, some computers don't have operating systems, or they don't have control software. E. Which one of these would be used as a desktop replacement computer? Laptop, mainframe, media player, or server? Correct answer is laptop. It's only one of those computers that could actually replace a desktop. Let's go to F. Describe how tablet computers allow people to work from home. So obviously 2020, 2021, I've seen a lot of people work from home. So how can we use tablet computers to allow people to work from home? Well, it's all about the internet connectivity to start with. So internet connectivity allows people to work from home. So collaboration through internet connectivity allows people to work together easily from home. So we'll go and have a look at G. A CPU has 16 megabytes of cache memory. Construct an expression to show how many bits are in 16 megabytes. So remember, we start with 8 bits in a byte. Then we multiply that. 1024, so that will give us kilobytes. Multiply it by 1024. You could put 1024 squared there to give us megabytes, and there's 16, so I now need to multiply that by 16, and that is my full expression for 3 marks. H. Howard sells his old hard disk to Steve. Complete the table by ranking these storage devices in order of their read-write speed. Hard disk, optical disk drive, solid state drive. So you need to put a letter, which is the fastest. So the fastest is the solid state drive. Second fastest is the hard disk drive. And slowest is the optical disk drive. So there's the correct answer there. You scroll down. We need to describe 2 factors that affect read-write speed of a hard disk drive. So the first one I'm going to look at is RPM. So I've written here RPM, revolutions per minute. This is how fast the hard drive is measured in how many spins of the disk per minute. The more spins, the faster the drive. So the second point I've written there is latency, the delay of the read-write head. The hard drive has a head that reads from the disk, and its latency, how slow it is also going to affect the speed, read-write speed of the hard drive. 3. Explain one benefit to the environment of buying previously owned devices. So this is an explain question, so we need to look at previously owned devices, which means second-hand or used devices, so devices that have been used before. So the benefits of that are onto the environment are obviously less raw materials been used in the manufacture. A device hasn't been put into landfill, it's been reused, so there's less e-waste. It's more sustainable. So I just need to choose one of those benefits and just write a brief explanation of it. So my answer here for 2 marks is less need to find more raw materials used in the manufacture of new devices, so less cost to the environment. And then number 4 here, which one of these is a type of software Howard should use to make copies of his applications? Is it control, office productivity, project management, or utility? So he's making copies of his applications, his software. So it isn't control, it isn't office productivity, it isn't project management, it is utility. So that completes section 1, question 1, for 21 marks. Question 2. Judy is researching online. A. List 2 types of user-generated reference sites Judy could use. I'm going to put wiki and also a forum. So could have accepted Wikipedia there as well. B. Judy uses a mobile phone to make a voice call. Draw a diagram to show the mobile phone's input and output devices required to make the call. Label each device you use in your diagram. So we've got to have a diagram that shows the mobile phone call. So obviously I'm not going to be able to easily draw it on here, but in your diagram, and don't worry about not being able to draw, just draw a kind of box to represent the mobile phone. But you should label it with microphone. There should be a label to the speaker, and there should also be a label to touchscreen as well. C. Judy sets file permissions on her online documents. Which one of these is a benefit of doing this? Is it A, B, C, or D? A. Improves encryption. B. Increases storage. C. Quicker backup. Or D. Secures data. The correct answer is D. Secures data. So we'll go down and look at D. Describe how a captcha test reduces the function of malware. The first point I've written there is it restricts automated or bot access to systems, so it stops automated access. We've also got verification of media. E. Explain one positive impact of cloud-based services on learning. So cloud-based means the data is stored on someone else's computer. That's what it means. Cloud-based means someone else's server. So the impact is, you could think about cost. So lower cost, you don't need hard drive to store data. Accessible from anywhere at any time because it's online. Collaboration. So access to software and files anywhere with an internet connection at any time. F. Describe how mobile broadband can be used to provide access to cloud-based services. So my answer is the mobile phone network provides access to the internet. G. Give one reason why Judy should use mobile broadband. So I put there, it's more secure than using public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi is very insecure and you should not use it for personal data, things like that. So it's definitely going to be more secure than public Wi-Fi. And I'm going to put that as my answer. And don't forget, it's only 1 mark, so you don't need to write loads there. So we'll move on to H. Explain one benefit of using wired connectivity. Now I started constructing my answer there, and I put wired is faster than wireless. It's faster than wireless because there's no interference, there's no blockages. You're getting a direct connection, so it's not as if you go to, say, another part of your house and try to use the internet. It's going to be slower. You're getting a direct connection, so it's always going to be faster. It's going to be more direct. It's going to be more secure. So I'm just going to go with the faster thing. Wired is faster than wireless. So my answer is, to complete question 2, wired is faster than wireless. It is less likely to be affected by walls, radio signals, etc., which will slow the connection down. And that completes question 2. Question 3. Eunice installs some software on her laptop. Draw one straight line from each example of utility software to the correct purpose. So we've got utility software there, compression, backup and anti-malware, and we need to draw the correct line from each one of those to the purpose. So the first one, the aim of compression is to reduce file sizes. The aim of backup is to create copies of files, and the purpose of anti-malware software is to protect from viruses. So we'll scroll down now and look at the next question. B. Which one of these types of device can have software installed to it? Is it memory, OMR reader, processor, or storage? The correct answer is storage. It's not A, it's not memory because software isn't installed into memory. It's not an OMR reader, optical magnetic reader, because software isn't installed into that. It's not the processor, so the only possible answer there is storage. C. Explain one benefit to Eunice of updating her software regularly. Well, she should update her software regularly to take advantage of the latest updates, latest features of the software which have been updated, also the latest security. So any one of those we need to use. So I've written for my answer, she should update software because she can take advantage of the latest features of the software. So she should update software regularly to take advantage of the latest features of the software. D. Eunice is travelling by train. She connects to the internet using the train's Wi-Fi connection. Explain why the Wi-Fi provider blocks video streaming. The Wi-Fi provider blocks video streaming because it's the amount of bandwidth it will take up. If the provider didn't block video streaming, then lots of people wanted to watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever on the train, then the bandwidth would very quickly get used up and everyone's connection would be really slow. So they blocked video playing because of that reason. So you can see my answer there. The Wi-Fi providers blocked video streaming because of the bandwidth it uses. If everyone used it to stream videos, it would use all the bandwidth and slow right down. E. The internet has provided a wider range of entertainment and leisure opportunities. One example is video and audio streaming. State two other examples. So we're thinking entertainment and leisure. So we're thinking online gaming, and we might be thinking perhaps booking systems to book maybe concerts and hotels, things like that, leisure opportunities. We might be thinking ebooks. We might be thinking quizzes. So any two of those is going to work here. So I've chosen online quizzes and online gaming. F. Eunice changes her laptop's GPS settings. Which one of these statements is true? Is it A. GPS is used by all digital devices? B. GPS does not use an internet connection? C. GPS uses cloud computing? Or D. GPS is better if open source software is used? The correct answer is B. GPS does not use an internet connection. So that's F. Go down and look at G. Eunice writes a blog. Eunice wants visitors to her blog to see posts that are likely to be relevant to them. Describe how cookies can be used to achieve this. So you've got to describe the use of cookies. So what you've got to write down is you're looking at the user's visits to the site, the page views. They're read, analysed, they're matched with posts that contain similar key data, metadata. So keywords here. Users' visits to the site are stored in cookies, which are read, analysed, then matched with posts that contain similar metadata. 2. In some countries, laws require website owners to obtain informed consent from visitors before using cookies. Explain why these laws are required. Find that a lot of websites contain this. Most websites contain this, accept all cookies. It's the little box at the bottom that says accept all cookies. And you can only usually access a site when you accept cookies. But we need to look at why we've got those laws, why that exists. It exists to protect privacy. Personal data information is gathered and used, so the user needs to know that is happening, so it's protecting privacy. So to wrap up question 3 then, these laws exist to protect privacy. The personal data in the cookies is gathered and read, and the user needs to know this. And that completes question 3 for 17 marks. Question 4. Hugo sells his music online. Which one of these is the law that protects his work? Computer Misuse Act, Copyright Designs and Patents Act, Human Rights Act, or Data Protection Act? The answer, of course, is B, Copyright Designs and Patents Act. B. There's 3 benefits to Hugo of selling his music online. So this is 3 marks, and for 3 marks we need to have 3 points. So I started there, he can reach a wider audience. So online he can reach a much wider audience. I put also that music can be sold at any time. And my third point is he can collect transactional data to target his customers. C. Figure 1 shows an image of Hugo's social media settings. So we can see that here. We've got different things there: posts, photos, videos, events, etc. Photo. Things to note here: auto accept friends is off. There's a padlock there. Looks like his location is off because it says activate. It looks like that's off. So we scroll down and look at the question. So 4 marks, explain 2 ways Hugo's protected his personal information. So I've gone for those location settings first, and he has turned location settings off, so he cannot be located to criminals that may wish to find him. Now we can also see a padlock there, and auto accept friends is off. So we can assume that his profile is set to private, which is another way that Hugo has protected his personal information. Another thing you could have there, if you looked at it, is kind of an avatar for his image, his profile picture, so you could have that as well. But I'm going to go for the auto accept friends being turned off. So you can see I've written my answer there about the auto accept. D. Hugo is choosing the type of computer he will use to manage the purchase and delivery of audio files to customers. Explain why an embedded system is a poor choice. Now, an embedded system is a very limited computer. It is a computer that you might get in a washing machine or something like that. It's very limited, and it would contain very minimal processing power and none, if any, RAM. So it wouldn't run very quickly. So it's a poor choice because of that. So I've written an embedded system cannot carry out complex requests because of its poor processing power. E. Hugo is working on a musical project. There's 2 key features of sound editing software that Hugo could use to create a song. 2 marks. Now this is only 2 marks, so we don't need a huge amount of detail, but I've started with Hugo could use layering to create multi-tracks. I'm also going to add, so my second point is he could use split, cut, etc. to edit his tracks. 2. Describe 2 key features of project management software that Hugo could use to make sure the project is completed before the deadline. So my first point is Hugo could use collaboration tools to share the workload and manage the workflow. And my second point is reporting tools could be used to keep stakeholders informed of progress. Question F. Hugo uses a desktop computer to write, create and distribute his music. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages to Hugo of selecting a desktop computer rather than a laptop, smartphone or tablet computer. In your answers you should consider components, portability, connectivity, cost and maintenance. Now the key word here is discuss, and I'll link to videos where I've talked about 8-mark questions. It's well worth planning out 8-mark questions. Even if it takes you 10 minutes to create a plan, it's worth doing because 8 marks is a big chunk of marks and you really need them in your exam. No one can afford to throw away 8 marks, so it's worth creating a plan. You also need to think about writing a conclusion, but I'm just going to go straight in and write my answer. For a video on 8-mark questions, I'll link to that above. So let's go in and construct an answer to this question. So we'll start with the advantages, and I'm going to start with the network connection. So wired connections, and what I really should write in there is wired network connections. So I'll just edit that. So wired internet/network connections that desktops have mean the connection is more secure. It's also a faster connection as well, which we could add in there too. The cost is lower. Desktops can be custom built much more cheaply than other devices. So it'd be much cheaper to build a custom-built desktop than a custom-built laptop. Desktops are easier to upgrade than other devices due to their form factor, making them easier to future-proof. Let's look at some disadvantages now. So here's a disadvantage. Convergence continues to reduce the cost of mobile devices, making the cost benefit of desktops even lower. Noise from cooling fans due to more powerful components might interfere with the recording process. So desktops will have, unless they have water cooling, liquid cooling, they will have fans, some quite powerful fans, and they make a noise and they're going to interfere with the recording process. You also have the disadvantage of desktops in that they're less portable. And due to better battery life nowadays, mobile devices are more portable and allow for easier working on the move. So I am going to conclude this. In conclusion, desktops offer more power and better specifications for the money certainly, but cannot match mobile devices for portability and ease of use for recording, no noisy fans, etc. So that concludes question 4, and that is 8 marks. Now just to be clear here, you do need to write a conclusion for 8 marks, and you do need to show a balanced side of both arguments, discussing both advantages and disadvantages to gain the 8 marks from this question. So that completes question 4 for a total of 24 marks. Question 5. Hugh creates a website for a band. Explain one drawback to the website user of Hugh reducing the file size of images used on the website. Well, if he reduces the file size of image on the website, then they're not going to be as good quality. They're not going to be as interesting. So if he reduces the file sizes of the images, they will not be of as good quality as less data is used to represent the image. B. Describe the function of 2 network components that are used to transfer data on the internet. So we need to describe 2 network components, 2 marks each, total 4 marks. So the first one I'm going to describe is a gateway, which connects a LAN to a WAN. And the next one I'm going to describe is a router, which finds the best path across a network. C. Explain why streaming allows users with limited storage on their devices to listen to the band's music. The data is not stored permanently, it is buffered to play on the device. D. Describe one method that should be used to secure payment data transfer between Hugh's server and other computers. So my answer is the data is scrambled encrypted, which makes it unreadable without a key that is created when it is scrambled and used to unlock and be able to read the data. E. Describe how WPA is a more secure protocol than WEP. WPA is more secure because it generates a new key for each device on the network rather than using a shared key. F. Hosted applications have fewer features than local applications. Explain one positive impact on the user experience of reducing the number of features. Well, it's quite an unusual question this, to look at the positives of reducing features, but what we could say is the software and application would load a lot more quickly because it's got less features. So my answer is applications load more quickly because there are less features that mean less load on the hardware. And this is our final question of question 5, and also our final question of the whole paper. It's an 8 marker. G. Evaluate how online communities have impacted on how we socialise. So very interesting question here, looking at how online communities, online resources, social networking has impacted on socialisation. So we need to note the word evaluate here, and we're evaluating online communities. So I started constructing my answer here. Online communities have had a huge impact on the way we socialise. We're now able to meet people from different parts of the globe and of many different cultures that simply was not possible before. Online communities have changed the way we communicate. Sometimes the message is lost due to not being able to read non-verbal communication. If we think about the figure that 93% of what we say is non-verbal, like body language, the way you say it, the tone, tonality, that's missing from some online communities. It's not possible, and sometimes the message gets lost, and sometimes people take offence when no offence was made to be given in the first place. It has brought a sense of being available all the time. It's not always possible to switch off as notifications appear constantly. It allows people to socialise when not allowed to socialise in person, If we think about the lockdown period that we've just come through, with online communities, we were able to socialise with people even though we weren't actually allowed to meet them in person due to restrictions. So that has been a real benefit. So as I said earlier, evaluation means we look at the positives and the negatives, and we'll do a couple more points, then write a conclusion. People can be distracted and it can lead to people being less engaged in the real world. You think about smartphone zombies that kind of walk around glued to their smartphone, not really paying attention to where they walk. And finally, safety features may keep us safe, but they may restrict access to some people. So some people may not be able to use all the features due to restrictions that they've got. So now we'll write a conclusion to finish this off. So here's my conclusion. In conclusion, online communities have many benefits, such as being able to socialise when we aren't allowed to meet in person. However, there are some drawbacks. It's important to balance online communities with real-world interactions. Now, it's important that you write the conclusion and you do evaluate both sides of the argument there. So that completes question 5 for a total of 23 marks, and that completes this paper 1 for a total of 100 marks. As always, thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know how you get on. Links to the paper, etc., down in the description. Thank you. Bye-bye.